everyone, I'm Spurti and I lead health and wellness for Lean in Bangalore. And as we were thinking about an event that's relevant for December for you guys, we realized that during this time of the year, everyone's either scrambling for work or busy wrapping things up with their kids at school, but there's no energy and focus that's directed towards you as an individual. So we thought we'd make December all about your wellness, and we have different videos focusing on financial health, physical health, and even goal setting and manifestation that we will be publishing out to you guys. And with that, I think let's get into today's video session with Mariam Beg. She's a health coach, nutritionist, and a good friend. And let's just kick off with, what's your personal background and experience, and what really got you to this point?
Okay, so basically I grew up in a very heavy meat-eating, sugar, dairy-eating family, which is quite a lot of us. I was Muslim and Anglo-Indian, so couldn't escape any of them. I got addicted to sugar really early on in my life, and I was really I could eat a whole tin of condensed milk. I could
I would eat,
and I still love my sweet. I need sweet at every meal, and I remember I used to eat my sister's birthday cake from the inside before the bakery, and I was like this real terror. My teeth were like really bad and all got filled, and more than that, as I grew up, I suffered from PCOD. I had got operated on it. I had severe cervical spondylosis at 15, and basically I had issues that everybody thinks are like normal and it's okay, and they're not big and they're not really they're not so as serious as you think that they should be. Just because they're not like diabetes or thyroid or cancer or something like that. But what we don't realize is that our human bodies are just they're really like amazing computers, and they function on such a high level of accuracy, and they're so good. So if something as simple as the common cold goes on for a long time, or a cough, it's actually a huge sign to say that something's really wrong with the functioning of your body, and that your body is actually struggling to cope. So I became a model, and I used to like starve and binge, and I couldn't understand how people could just eat a salad and be full, and I had this constant struggle with my food. I was hungry all the time. So I took it upon myself to like start figuring out what works for my body and what doesn't, and seeing how, and then doing a lot of research on what actually works and what doesn't. So that's how I started.
Great. And what made you actually become a health coach, become a nutritionist? Because that's a lot of commitment.
Yeah. So I've always been into health, and if you ask all my friends, I just had this fascination for it. I had a fascination to see what works for my body, because my body seemed so different from everyone else's bodies, and it was not easy for me to lose weight. I had multiple issues with a lot of things, and especially since I thought I was doing stuff that was right. So I've always had that interest, and I always like grew my own sprouts. I would carry it to restaurants, and so it was always there, but it was like on a certain level of as much as I knew, and then somebody very close to me fell very sick suddenly, and it was such a wake-up call, because it was that I always thought I was doing better than everyone else and everyone around me and everything like that, and then I didn't realize that something could go so wrong. So I started then I just dove into just so many new, and started following a lot of people who've been in the health field for the last 20-30 years. Started realizing that there's a lot that we're doing right, but there are a lot of softer nuances that we're kind of getting wrong, with timings, with the way you treat food, with how often you eat, or and especially your mental work. So the mental work was something that I really started trying to understand, and I started using it, and it started working with me and people around me, and that was what was making the huge difference. I was kind of doing the same thing, but I was just putting in a lot more. I was giving my body a lot more care, and also just understanding a lot more as to some very offensive foods and some not so offensive foods, you know. And then I started realizing there's this whole world with disease management, allopathy, holistic treatments, and there's everybody is like, it's like politics. Everybody's just like so against each other, and there's like so much difference. Nobody understands that you need functional medicine. You need an integration of the two, you know, for it to work. And when I started seeing the way it would work so well, even on patients that were very sick and were going through very heavy treatments, just simple things, simple natural stuff would make so much of difference. I was just amazed. I was like, wow, this is what, you know, this is how amazing the human body is, and if you just help it, it just it really it kind of, you know, it bounces back so fast. So I studied this for a long time, and then I just I came back, and I couldn't go back to work. I was in advertising. I was in production. I used to head a production company, so we used to make ads all the time, and I couldn't. I just felt like I had to tell people how to do. I had to be able to communicate as to, actually it is so simple to like live a cleaner and a healthier life in stressful urban situations. It's not that we are, you know, it's easy for me to tell somebody to go meditate on a mountain, and it's just very easy to get like healthy food there and all, but we are in stressful situations. We go to social, our whole lives are about social situations, whether it's a festival or a wedding or a party, and we're constantly bombarded with so many foods that may not be really good for you, or we have to navigate stressful situations where we don't have time to pick up really healthy food, where you try to pick up convenience food. So I just wanted to tell people, you know, how much easier it can be with like simple life hacks. So I decided at 40 to go back to school. I closed my business down overnight. Everybody thought I was in depression, but I was just like,
you just gotta believe in what you think your calling is, right?
So I just closed it down. I just went, and then I went back to school, and studied to be a health coach, because for me, health coaching, I did not want to be a dietitian or look at nutrition as something that will be clinical and counted in calories, because I understood that your mental work as well as what you eat physically, what I can eat a salad and you can eat a salad, and we both will process it really differently because of the way our minds work. So counting calories really doesn't make any sense to me, and calories in and calories out, and making sure you walk 10,000 steps a day, and making sure that you have to do this if you go for a party, I feel puts a lot of pressure on your brain, and causes more pressure on your body. Your body gets pressured into figuring, oh my god, you know, I'm exhausted, I'm full, I've overeaten, and now she's making me work out. Like you know, it's, in fact, this year there have been some really horrifying stories of people really young dying while on the treadmill, because their bodies were just overloaded with everything, because we have just one body, you know. So understanding that, and I just wanted to teach that, and I knew that if I study, I will know how to package that a lot better and be able to communicate that a lot better. So yeah, it was amazing. It changed me, so I wanted to change everybody else.
That's great. I mean, that's such a heartwarming story, and I think it's only when something big happens to someone who's close to you, and there's a personal experience, is there a wake-up call. We take so many things for granted that you know, sometimes it's life's way of just opening up our eyes. So on that note, Mariam, you have so many clients, and you work with them on different you know, health and eating issues that they have. What do you see as the common relationship that people have with food today?
Yeah, the biggest one, unfortunately, is fear. We fear food. I see everybody around me just, and I lived with that. I used to think, you know, if I pick up this, oh my god, this burger, this cake, it's like, it's going to be so bad for me, it's going to be so bad for me. If you think that, it's really going to be bad for you, because you've already shamed your body before you've eaten it. So you've stressed yourself out so much. So most people are fearful and very confused as to what works for their body and what doesn't. And yeah, like I said, everybody still is stuck on how many calories something is, whether something has a lot of fat. Can I take off the fat? Can I put in this? Should I do this? Should I do that? So all things like that is causing so much more stress to your mind. So trying to make people understand that good fat is actually so good for you. It's actually really good for your brain. It's really good for everything, you know. But that doesn't mean you have to go completely on like a keto diet or like depriving yourself of food groups really doesn't make sense. It's just about how to be able to understand. Like if I go to a buffet, I now know. I used to be afraid of buffets. I used to be like, oh my god. And I know a lot of people who feel like that because they have absolutely no idea how to navigate their way around that much of food. It's very overwhelming.
It's so much
and
food, so many options out there.
Yeah. And you just don't know what works for you, whether you'll be full, whether you like it, whether you don't. And we look at food as a reward, right? We never ever look at food as, you know what, this is going to nourish me. We're like, okay, I want to cheat meals. I have clients who come in and say like, I don't want to work with you because you don't give us cheat meals. And I'm like, who are you cheating? You can't cheat yourself, right?
Yeah.
You can't be like, okay, I'm cheating myself. It's going into your body. So for you to be able to understand that, try and understand an 80-20 rule, what you do in your dailies is so much more important than what you do otherwise. And never look at the 20% or the 10% of the time you do something else as bad. Your body's fabulous. I mean, look at us. We've eaten and drunk and eaten, and we've done so much in our lives, and we're still here, right?
Yeah.
It's just about looking after it a bit more. Our bodies are really capable of looking after us, but by constantly physically eating the wrong stuff at the wrong time and then mentally and emotionally shaming yourself is such a bad combination that that's pretty much one of the biggest things. Most people eat quite okay. They're not eating badly, but it's more the thought process to it that actually causes so much of damage.
Yeah, that's a great takeaway, right? Like fear. Do not fear your food. It's there to nourish you. It's there to help you, not to harm you.
Yeah.
So I think we need to change our mindset around it. So on that note, Mariam, like what are some easy tips? Like everyone in our community, they're going to be at different levels when it comes to that relationship with food that they have.
Yeah.
What are some generic tips or takeaways that you can give the community for them to start improving their relationship with food?
So one of the first things is non-food related is that you have to be able to try and set certain kinds of dailies. See, our bodies are like little kids. They're like spoiled little kids. If you behave differently with your body every single day of your life, you're shocking it because your body is expecting. It's expecting, say, breakfast at 7:30. It's expecting this to happen. It's expecting that to happen. But you suddenly be like, you know what? Today I'm not going to do that. And today I'm going to eat a pea. And I'm not going to eat anything else the rest of the day. Then your body starts getting really frightened and starts going into it starts going into crazy. So even people who are like, you know what, intermittent fasting has worked for us, I'm going to start intermittent fasting today. I fast a lot now and I really enjoy fasting and the benefits of fasting are amazing, but it's happened gradually. It's happened slowly and my body has had to accept it slowly. There are certain days I can't do it, there are certain days I can do it. I have gotten to a very raw plant-based, primarily raw plant-based kind of lifestyle where most of my food is that, but that again happened really slowly. And I've still not given up other foods completely. If I go out or I go on a trip, if I feel like eating something, I do, and I do not shame myself for it. I'm like, if it's something I feel like doing, or if somebody tells me that they would really like me to taste something, I will do it. As of now, I may change tomorrow, I don't know, but I never ever, suddenly shift something, suddenly be like there's so many people who are like, I became vegan and it just like I got so sick. And I'm like, yeah, but you were eating pizza. And just because it was vegan, it didn't mean it was the best for you. You changed something your body was used to, your bacteria in your body was used to so much. You suddenly shifted and you never ever understood that you have to supplement stuff with other stuff. So never do something that's like a drastic change. Do stuff that is ongoing in your head, you can always challenge yourself a little more. You don't actually need, like, especially if you do the caffeine a lot, or you eat many times a day, maybe slowly closing in your eating window. Maybe if you're going out every night this week, there's certain days, try and put more plant-based foods into your diet. So putting in more plant-based foods means, like, not just having a really boring salad of carrot and cucumber and something, and and we kind of deprive ourselves even with the salad, because we're like, you know what, I don't like the salad, but I'm just gonna eat it because it's like good for you, because I have to go out for a party on the weekend. And that poor salad will be like, and you're like, that salad's gonna sort me out, my skin's gonna become good, I'm gonna become thin, this is gonna happen to me, everything's gonna happen to that salad. That poor salad is like, I cannot do anything for you. If you're gonna hate me while you eat it, like,
Yeah.
So you have to, it was something that I would do a lot before, where I would like deprive my salads of like nothing, because I thought that I could eat something else. But now I've realized that I load my salad with stuff that I love, that, like, even if it's something like, sometimes I can put mixture on my salad, and I'm not shaming myself and saying, no, this is actually not bad for me. No, you've eaten so much of salad, it's fine, and you're eating something that's crunchy, that tastes good, that you like, So sometimes you add in flavors that you like, and you don't necessarily need to get, the shift can happen from flavors from a bottle, like say a mayo or a ready-made sriracha sauce. You can make those same flavors with herbs, with different dips and sauces. So keep hummus in your fridge, keep a chutney in your fridge. Make sure that these things are always there, accessible, on hand, and you have to do it once a week or twice a week. And you realize, you start eating so much more healthier stuff in between, because it's easy to just assemble these things once you have this little bit of prep ready. So doing that during the week really cleanses your system. It really gives your body that break. Your body starts feeling so much more energized and better. And then you want to eat something, you want to drink something on the weekend, or you want to do something, it's fine, because your body's then energized and nourished. If we are constantly feeling bad and our body's stressed anyway, so that's when your body goes into more downfall. By putting in more whole food, plant-based options into your diet, like every fruit, vegetable, greens, herbs, everything, just keep dumping it in, you'll realize your flavors anyways change so much. And secondly, your immunity builds. It starts protecting you. So then, you go out in the night, or you drink ice and stuff like that, you just don't get sick anymore. Your body has that much of defense, and that's what actually leads you to actually being healthier through the season.
No, I think those are some really good nuggets there, right? Like, first, make food enjoyable
Yeah,
for you.
it has
Like, make
to
sure
be.
it has the flavors that you like, and whether that's
and good
custard
fat. It
flavors.
has to have fat, because then you don't spike. Your
Yeah.
sugar doesn't spike. You feel satiated.
Exactly. So it's make it craveable. Make sure that any change you make is gradual, so you don't
Yeah.
shock your body and
Yeah.
stress your body even more. And even I think the other point that you alluded to is, don't like limit yourself or portion control yourself.
Yeah.
Like, your body knows when to tell you stop.
Yeah.
So if it's good for you foods, like, eat it heartily and enjoy it.
Enjoy it. You have to enjoy it. Like, I love my chocolate and stuff like that, so I make sure I make really good raw chocolate at home, because then you start shifting towards, you start preferring that. I can go out and I can see like this whole cake that I couldn't resist before, but now I don't. I mean, the sugar just tastes different. I just realized that there's something at home that's so much more nourishing to me and so much more delicious for me to eat. So you start making those choices automatically. It just starts. It's not about, like, people say, how do you have that? How do you have, what is that word that they use? Like,
Willpower.
How do you have the willpower not to eat it? And I'm like, it's not any willpower. I just prefer eating that now, because you start understanding how good it is for you. And before I would go to, if I had a party in the evening, I'd just eat like this sad little salad during the day. I'd be hungry throughout, and then I'd reach the party and I'd just like start eating every single chip in sight, and just
I think we've all been there at some point of time.
Yeah, you just ruin. And now I eat something I'm satiated when I go to party, so I can choose what I really like to eat, and not, my head is not about I just need to eat, right? So doing that actually helps you eat a lot less when you go out,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So I think the other thing, especially at this point of time, is December is the time where you want to be seen. So you want your skin to look good. You want to have energy to go out and attend
Yeah.
parties. But at the same time, you're eating out so frequently and you're not eating at home, so you
Right.
lose that control.
Right.
So how do you maintain that balance? Because I know that
I
you
got
love
a
having a good time,
lot.
you love enjoying yourself with friends and family.
Food is always about how much I go out.
No, but it's great to have that balance,
Yeah.
right? So why
Yeah,
don't you walk
I-
us through how you actually balance that out?
Yeah, I go out, I travel a lot, I do a lot of stuff. That's fun, sometimes a bit too much fun. But yeah, so for me, it's so much about like, last weekend, I went out for like a really hectic weekend, lots of friends, lots of partying, we went to watch a band. And I was in another country, but I woke up every morning. I mean, you've got your phone, Google. I travel a lot. I've been from anywhere from Moscow to Glasgow to Singapore to any little place, I mean, smaller places in India. All of them within a distance of like a maximum of a 15-minute walk. You will find a smoothie place, you will find something that has really clean, good food. So that's my thing in the morning. I wake up and I do my dailies. So I do a little bit of medicine. So I don't do my practice as long as I would in Bangalore, but I'll still do a little bit of dailies because like food, your body is expecting even that, you know. So even if it's like a little bit of oil pulling or a little bit of breathing or a little bit of pranayama or something small that you usually do. If you do about 7 in a day, if you do 2 or 3 that morning, and or a little bit of stretching, and then I make sure that one meal of mine is a really heavily superfood loaded smoothie or a salad. Mostly it's a smoothie. And then I join my friends and I eat whatever, I go wherever. But you realize that you just don't do as much then, right? And you have a good time because you feel really good. Like my body needs that, and I will go and people will make fun of me and people will say all kinds of things, and they'll say you have to, I'll go and meet them separately. But that's what I do. I mean, it's my mantra. I just realized that it's what I mean. It's so little bit that I need to do for my body, and my body gives me so much back in return. I recover so much faster. It's whatever I have lost in nutritionally, my body just gets all that from just a little bit of mental work and a lot of nutrition.
Yes, that little bit of discipline and also prioritizing yourself. Right? Like I'm
Prioritizing,
sure
yeah.
a lot of you are going to be traveling a lot
Yeah.
this month, but make yourself a priority. Take a little bit of time and go to that place where you get food that you would like to eat.
And it's everywhere now. It's so simple. It's like whether you, and if you look at different cuisines around the world, like this time I was in Southeast Asia and we went to supremely heavily meat laden, like the jumbo crab place where I was like, you know, we ordered about 8 or 9 dishes of just greens. And you can get that anywhere. You can get that in any restaurant, you know.
Yeah.
So you there's just so much you can do to supplement stuff when you're traveling. It's not about I mean, eat stuff, eat it, but don't like think that you need to eat only that and nothing else, you know.
So be smart about it.
Be
and
smart about
be
it,
smart
yeah.
about the choices that you make when you go outside.
Yeah.
So for those who are going to be in a hectic holiday partying
Yeah.
season, what can they do at home? What can they do in order to make sure that they're still nourished, they still have energy to go
Yeah.
out?
So yeah, like I said, plant-based all the way. Just do as many fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, greens as you possibly can. Just overload everything with it. Even if you're eating cooked food, just make sure that you have like lots of stuff in it. It's quite cold nowadays, so just making nourishing soups and putting the soups in a blender really thickens it. Put some nuts with it, and you really get nourishing, filling soups that you can go out with. You're feeling good, and then you go out in the night. It's amazing. It just keeps you so satiated, so happy. The tastes are so good. Last night I made this leek sweet potato and pea soup, and I put a lot of cumin in it. which I usually wouldn't put. I put some chili and lots of cumin. It tastes amazing. It's just creamy, amazing soup, and it's so simple. It's like 5 ingredients, you know.
Let's
So
just
it's
pause
just-
there. Do you see the passion with which she talks about food? Like that's how you need to feel about food. You need to like love it. You need to enjoy it, and I think that's when the food really gives
it
back.
is,
to
it
you.
is. It really, you have to start having a relationship with food. We have a relationship with our Facebook, and we have relationships with everything, but we
Yeah.
just think that, oh, you know what, I can't deal with the kitchen, I can't. But just looking at your food, touching your food is the first stage of digestion. It's when your food is like understanding what is coming to it, instead of like it just being shocked with something that was just ordered from outside, you know. So doing stuff like that, and recovery is very important. So you have a heavy night,
Yeah, that's true.
vitamin C is really amazing. Try and source really good sources of vitamin C. So vitamin C is not ascorbic acid, and it's not that vitamin C you get for 2 rupees on in the medical store. You need to the powdered camu camu berry, goji berry, amla. Amla is one of the best sources of vitamin C in the world. So overloading yourself with that, having just a glass of water with some vitamin C powder in it before you go out fortifies you. I do a drink of sometimes some cinnamon, apple cider vinegar, haldi, turmeric, pepper, some lime. I put in essential oils sometimes because I source really good essential oils. So like orange, and just drinking that just gives you, it's this amazing boost, you know. Putting in chia seeds to that water. So just having a bottle of water the whole day with all these things in it, whether it's warm or whether it's cold or whatever you like, but just get that down during the day. That's amazing, because those little superfood, little powerhouses just go like pow, 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 pow all over your body and like get you recovered really soon.
Yeah, so hydration along with the recovery,
Yes.
like so make your water more fun.
Yes.
So you can drink more of it.
Yeah. That's something that you should just do throughout the season, whatever the day, because it really boosts your immunity.
We also have a lot of mothers in our community, you know. So
Yeah.
I think I've noticed that at the end of the day, you know, when I was a child, I pick up what my mother is doing, like
Yes.
very, very, very subconsciously. So how can mothers be really good role models for their children when it comes to having this good relationship with food,
Yeah.
and making sure that it's never negative or positive?
Yeah. So the same thing, right? If you see your mom eating these kinds of, my mom was pretty, considering I came from a very, very indulgent in food kind of background, my mom was still quite healthy. And I think I picked up a lot of those things. They were like at the back. I was never healthy when I was growing up, but like I think these things just kind of worked on me, like at the back of my head, that we always made fresh food. We never bought food from a store or a packet, or we never did stuff. I don't think there was ever Maggi noodles in my house for some reason. There was never. I mean, there was canned meat from America, which would come, but like there was no. There weren't so many things from a packet, and I think I got kind of. I liked the fact that we never ate that way. We ate a lot of food that might not be really healthy today, but we ate a lot of real food. It was which made a difference. So just watching her do that, I think, gave me so much more to be able to like my food. So so for your kids, the best thing is to get kids involved, you know, because
Yeah.
it's an activity for them, you know. If you can get kids involved in an activity, it makes them more interested in what they are doing and to understand what's going into their bodies, you know. Or like on the dining table, what I would do is make the food that I'm making, make regular food as well, keep the pizzas there if the kids want it and the burgers, and just boil some corn, boil a couple of different vegetables, grate some ginger on them, do some embellishments on them, and encourage the kids to eat a bit of that with their meals, right? So do that. Of course, there's this whole thing of like camouflaging stuff. So in your pancakes, so greens can go anywhere. The mixie is your best friend. So just like camouflage stuff. Beetroots will color it over, and carrots will color it over. So do stuff that can camouflage them so the kids can eat more. I know this one mother who her kid was really, really ill, and she needed to get nutrition into him. So she froze a green smoothie and she made it like an ice cream, like a soft serve ice cream, and she was eating it, and her baby asked her, what what are you eating? And she said, ice cream. And he said, can I have? And she was like, no. And he
That
started,
no made it
he
easy.
started wanting to have it, and he just got well so fast. So sometimes we think of smoothies as this big thing, but sometimes you can just have that much and have it with the rest of your meal. So it can be, you can slowly start crowding out a plate. Everything is not about not eating or eating, you know. Eat the chips. Kids want the chips, let them eat the chips. But then just give them a little bit of this. Give them, figure out whether they can just drink up something, or they need to chew something, they need to crunch something. And then just start, you know, including more and more of these, instead of, because I see parents really have battles, you know, because it's such a psychological war that goes on between kids and parents, and it seems so a little bit of deviousness and sneaking things in might work.
And being a good example yourself,
Of
right?
course,
Like
that is,
I think
yeah.
you cannot be eating chips on the dinner table and expect your kids to eat that like plate of boiled corn or boiled veggies.
Exactly, yeah.
You have to be that example that you want to
Yeah.
see in them.
For sure.
Great. So I think this has been great, Mariam. There are so many little nuggets there that you guys can take away, and hopefully you have a great December. And I know you mentioned a couple things around recovering
Yeah.
and some waters that you make. Do you mind
Yeah.
sharing a recipe with the community?
Yeah, sure. So I make this really good. So I do this thing called vitamin water, because it's with, you know, when you squeeze your lime, you cut the edges of your pineapples, and you know, you have a little bit of mint left on the sprigs on the stalk. So all that goes in, instead of going into the garbage. All those little bits, the edges of a strawberry, a little bit of ginger. So lots of that goes into this water. That's a jug that's left on my kitchen counter, and it steeps for 24 hours. And so that water becomes alkaline, as well as it gets all the properties of the fruits and herbs that you put in. So it tastes really great, and it's really good for you. And this can encourage you or anyone around you to drink a lot more fluid with that water. So I strain it out every day, and then replace the fruits in new water, replace it with new fruits and new water. And that you can use it for up to 2-3 days if you refrigerate it. In that I kind of mix some chia seeds, some turmeric, a dash of pepper, because turmeric gets a lot more bioavailable in your body if there is fat from the chia seed, and pepperine from the pepper. So put that in. Sometimes I put in cinnamon, sometimes I put in like an orange oil, sometimes I put in
That sounds better than a cocktail.
sometimes I put in a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So so that's a fabulous kidney flush. It's a really good kidney detox drink that I think everybody should drink once a day, or especially during this season. So because it flushes your body, it gives your body lots of alkalinity, it gives your body lots of vitamins and minerals that might be missing, good fats. It's a great drink to have.
Sounds like it. So I think what we'll do is we'll get the recipe from Mariam, and we'll actually put it up along with this video.
Yeah.
And so Mariam, you also do consults, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
I work on a 6-month program with people, one-on-one. I also come into your kitchen, see what's not good
Have
in
fun.
it.
If
clean
you
up
want a
the fridge.
makeover, kitchen makeover, you know who to reach out
And
to.
try and improve your meals, try and teach you how to eat a lot more nourishing food, as well as convert the meals that you're already eating and just nutritionally enhance them with different stuff. And I've also come out with a cleanse that is not a deprivatory cleanse, which is just juices and water the whole day. So it has also good fats, it has smoothies, it has salads, it has soups. So we are coming out with the second round of it. We did a really successful round last month, and everybody really liked it. So next month we're planning to come out with another one that it's a cleanse during the week for 3 days, and then you can have a good time on the weekend.
That's fantastic. So I think we'll put down your contact information. So
Sure.
if any of you
Yeah.
need some help or a little bit of a nudge in the right direction, you can reach out to Mariam. And if you want to know how to eat like her for a couple days, then I think you can sign up for the cleanse and
Yes.
get that experience as well. So thank you so much again,
Thank
Mariam.
you. This
And
was amazing.
all of y'all
Thank you.
have a great December.
Happy
and
holidays.
Happy holidays and a great start to 2020.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See you.